What do you think of Nikki Haley? When I'm watching her, and again, the reason I tell people I'm a Democrat is just because I think sometimes it frames how you think about certain things. And again, who you offer the benefit of the doubt. And when I'm watching these debates, to me, Nikki Haley is the most normal and reasonable candidate, or maybe she's running the most centrist campaign. Her campaign to me almost feels like a general election campaign as opposed to a Republican primary campaign. So I understand why a lot of hardcore Republicans don't love her. I think more Democrats and moderates are like, "Hey, Nikki Haley, she's not too bad at all." But then I don't know. I can also see how people on the right, or let's say young people who don't care that much, I could see how this whole idea of neocons, I could see how people are like, is she that much different than Hillary Clinton? Right? She's not a Democrat. She's got the R, but just the way she thinks and talks and focuses, like, is there that much of a difference between, let's say, Hillary Clinton and Nikki Haley? I can understand the argument from the right of she's kind of a rhino, or she talks like it or feels like a rhino a little bit.
Yeah, look, she's a good example of kind of the prism you view things through because she could be any of those things that you just mentioned, depending on kind of where you come from. But if you really because style plays such a big part of it, and I think her style, the way she talks, the way she frames issues. Look at how she talks about abortion. She's not pro-choice. She's pretty pro-life. In fact, I don't know that there's much difference between her position on abortion than Donald Trump's. But the way she talks about it seems more moderate. And I think that appeals to some people, but that also really pisses off some people, and especially on the right. I If you go down the list and you look at policy issues between Trump and Haley, to the extent that Trump lays out policy issues, there's not really much difference. Like on taxes, on government spending, on the border, abortion, gun control, I think their positions are very, very close on pretty much all those things. The one thing you could maybe point to, which I think would be fair, would be how they would handle the war in Ukraine, eh, where Haley wants to keep funding Ukraine. Trump says he will negotiate a deal between Ukraine and Russia on day one, but doesn't really say what he would do in terms of funding. So that's one issue where you could say they're different. But outside of that, I don't know. But I'll tell you, the Trump people despise Haley, and you see that on social media. They despise her, even though, again, when it comes to policy, there's not a lot of difference between her or DeSantis or Trump. But you're right. She has managed to appeal to some moderate voters, but it has come at the price, I think, of that kind of hardcore base of the party that is just dead set against her. I mean, Tucker Carlson said the other day, if Trump picked Haley as his vice president, he would not support that ticket, even though we know, he loves Trump. So that gives you kind of insight on how Trump is perceived among what I would call the hardcore base of the modern Republican Party.